is dawning. Century after century, Prague awakens to another day. The beams of the morning sun glitter on the myriads of waves of the Vitava river, washing its stone banks. The sun touches the ancient walls of the palaces and towers. Prague, a city lying in the heart of Europe, called golden and many-spired. Praga Mater urblum. It emerged at the crossroads of ancient trails. The bend of the Vitava river marks its historic center. The first reports of its existence date back to the year 929. The pearl of European architecture, history, and culture. We begin our tour with a view of the monumental edifice of the Municipal House, built in the beginning of this century, in the years 1906-1911. The Smetana Hall of the Municipal House is the biggest concert hall in Prague. The columns of the balcony and its facade are rich with ornamental design. The municipal house stands at the place where the Charles courtyards once stood, built by Václav IV in 1380. Nearby stands the Powder Tower, built by Matej Rejska, approximately in 1475. When the Prussians beleaguered Prague, the tower was heavily damaged. Its neo-Gothic style is linked with the year 1886, when the tower was restored. You can observe rich reliefs on the walls of the tower. Tower stands at the entrance to the Old Town and opens the view on Celetna Street, where we'll be going in a while. It always belonged to the main routes of the capital city of Prague. Roman stone structures, the burghers' houses and palaces are today the silent witnesses of the rich and extraordinary history of the town. Today we can still observe the house emblems and signs of predominantly Baroque houses of Gothic origin. Their names are At the White Angel, At the Black Sun, At the Three Kings, and so on. Celetna Street becomes wider and wider. The Strohov House is one of those buildings which stands on the edge of Old Town Square. a special chapter in Prague's history. This is also illustrated by period engravings. You can observe the monumental tower of the Teen Church, which spears the sky since the second half of the 15th and the beginning of the 16th centuries. The 80-meter height of the spires makes it an imposing structure, dominating mostly Gothic Old Town Square. Forms are found on another outstanding building on this ancient square, the Cathedral of St. Nicholas, built in the years 1732-1735, with a portal and reliefs. Praga Caput Regni, the Prague Town Hall, was the heart of the Kingdom of Bohemia and a metropolis of medieval Europe. The world-famous astronomical clock with moving apostles dates back to the year 1410. In the light of the setting sun shines the Czech lion on the Renaissance bars of the small square. The nearby house, called At the Golden Well, is rich with plaster reliefs. The day slowly comes to an end, and the setting sun warms the panorama of Charles Bridge and Prague Castle towering on the horizon. The centuries-old European history is pressed into stone and iron of this city. Prague, mother of all towns, the cultural and historical metropolis of Europe. Prague, the magic of history. Prague's Jewish town is one of the smallest quarters in the city, but it's extremely rich with monuments of historical importance. The Jews began to settle here in the 10th century and brought their specific culture here. Out of the 6 remaining synagogues of profound interest is Meisel's synagogue. It is part of the State Jewish Museum. Originally, it was built in Renaissance style and then rebuilt in Neo-Gothic style. Not far from Meisel's synagogue, we find the Jewish town hall, built in the 16th century. The most outstanding in the Jewish quarter is the Old New Synagogue, one of the oldest early Gothic buildings, the construction of which began in 1270. Nearby the Old New Synagogue is the Pinkas Synagogue, a late Gothic and partly Renaissance building neighboring with the ancient Jewish cemetery. It was founded in the second half of the 15th century as a private place of prayer for the Horowitz family. One of the world-known monuments is the Jewish cemetery, one of the most rich and the oldest Jewish cemetery in the world. 12,000 gravestones create a bizarre atmosphere where you can feel the power of time and the extraordinary, mysterious poetry of Jewish history. Oldest preserved gravestone belongs to Avigdor Kar, dated 1439. house synagogue, neighboring the cemetery, displays the old Hebrew manuscripts and significant writings which are adored by visitors and tourists. Visitors and tourists come to see the gravestone carved out of pink marble, where rests the most famous person buried at this cemetery, Jehuda ben Bezalel, also known as Rabbi Lev. According to the legend, he created an artificial man, the golem, for King Rudolph II. Among well-known names, we will find the grave of Maisel. It is one of the 12,000 gravestones that create the only historic and cultural monument of this kind in the world.